This Wednesday, we're looking at the Halt Fentanyl Act, Trump, Congress, and what impact the law is going to have on the fentanyl crisis, if any at all. Hey y'all, I'm Marlon with Chronic Pain Warriors United. Hope y'all are having a great Wednesday so far. Let's jump into it. So last Wednesday, June 16th, Trump signs the Halt Fentanyl Act, and I thought the name was Orwellian enough, but the full name is the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act, which is, the names that they come up with for these things are absolutely ridiculous. So we're talking about what the law says, what it may or may not do, and what we should have probably done instead. I don't think this law is going to have much of any impact at all on the trafficking of fentanyl into the country, and definitely not the manufacture of it in south of the border in Mexico. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But first, I want to get into what Trump said during the signing about addiction. Go.
So today, on behalf of all Americans who have lost a loved one to opioids, we renew our vow to liberate America from this horrible plague.
That sounds almost exactly like what he said during 2018 of the signing of the Alexander bill. And by the way, if you want to know where the vast majority of problems that we as chronic pain patients have to deal with in the pain management system, they came from the 2016 CDC prescription guidelines and the Alexander bill. But this is what he said. I'm throwing it up now. In 2018, together we are going to end the scourge of drug addiction, Trump said at a bill signing ceremony at the White House, or at least make a big dent in this terrible, terrible problem. That's what he said just a few years ago in 2018. Now, let's go back to 2016 in New Hampshire. I'm throwing that up. We are going to stop the inflow of drugs into New Hampshire and into our country 100%, Trump said. Now, I do not blame Donald Trump for saying we're going to stop addiction and then failing to do it. They have been saying that for a very, very long time. What I am tired of is them passing all these laws that impact chronic pain patients and our ability to access effective pain management, all in the name of stopping the opioid crisis, saving lives, stopping the fentanyl crisis, and everything they have done has made it worse. Period. End of story. Like literally every single thing they've done. Let's go back to 1915 real quick. This is an article from the 1915 news talking about addiction in America after they passed the Harrison Narcotics Act. They have been telling Americans, politicians that is, that they would end addiction in America for 110 years. And they have been using the addiction as a public health crisis thing to justify the invasion of our healthcare and the stripping of very personal rights, like deciding who's going to manage our pain, or deciding when our pain needs to be treated, or deciding how it's going to be treated, like our ancestors did for thousands and thousands of years. The DEA, CDC, and government entities have come along over just the last 100 years or so, and they've said all those medications that your ancestors have used for thousands of years, we're placing them on this thing called the Controlled Substance Act. And if you use these medications, i.e. marijuana, DMT, psilocybin mushrooms, or many others, by the way, if you use these medications, we will charge you with the crime and then we will put you in jail. They have never had the right to do it, and every single person they have ever arrested for possession of marijuana or possession of DMT or possession of psilocybin mushrooms, much less putting these people in actual jails, is a crime against humanity. And that crime against humanity has been compounded many times over by denying millions of people access to effective pain management. And helping them live with chronic pain. Millions of people have been denied this right that is theirs over the last decade at least. Now, when I was talking about the precursors and why I don't think that this law is going to do much to stop the flow of fentanyl into the country or stop the manufacture of it south of the border, that's for sure. It's like they created a law to address a problem that didn't exist. Do they think a bunch of people are running around with fentanyl precursors? Like, maybe think of Jesse and Walt in Breaking Bad when they broke into that facility to steal the methamphetamine, like this right here. Y'all remember this? Do they think people are running around with fentanyl like this, or fentanyl precursors, I should say? No, and that's why I don't think it's going to do anything. The cartels don't get the precursors and other chemicals they need to manufacture fentanyl from inside of America. And by the way, when I say manufacture fentanyl, it is 100% synthetic. You do not need to grow a opium poppy, a Papaver somniferum flower, and harvest opium product to create fentanyl. You have to do that to make morphine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, all that stuff. But fentanyl, it is completely synthetic, and they can make it from precursors. And the Chinese Communist Party supplies the cartels south of the border with oceans of the stuff, more of it than they will ever be able to use. They are making so much of this stuff that, excuse me, they make it in massive quantities. They press it into pills a lot of the time, like this article from the DEA. And by the way, they've been doing all this stuff, the DEA, CDC, government, well over 10 years, constant attacks on chronic pain patients in the name of stopping the fentanyl crisis. And it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. They have not slowed this thing down, not one whit. And if we keep following the playbook of prohibition and the DEA, more and more and more people are going to die. If the DEA and federal government had not intervened at all, a lot of people that are now dead would absolutely still be alive. I have no doubt about that. Every single action they have taken has made the problem worse. So the cartels do not need precursors from inside the United States to manufacture fentanyl. They are getting as much of it as they will ever need from the Chinese Communist Party and much, much more. So they've created a law that addresses a problem that doesn't exist. And that's what a lot of these laws that they've created to stop the opioid crisis have done. Either address a problem that doesn't exist or infringe upon the rights of patients of some kind. Anyways, that's what's happened. So let me know what you think in the comments. As always, like I say at the end of every video, your stories like you are unique and special, and they are a boon in the fight for pain management reform. And when our fellow compatriots around the country see these stories, it makes them mad. I still believe and know to a certain extent that most Americans know injustice when they see it done to their friends, family, and fellow Americans, and they don't like it. And they will speak up in our defense when they see it. So all of y'all's stories are very important. Leave those in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. I'm Marlon with Chronic Pain Warriors United. Hope y'all have a rest of a great week, and we'll see y'all real soon. Cheers.